back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Brody. I'm joined along Zach, a.k.a. Darnell Mooney Season on Instagram. Make sure you go follow him. Great Bears content. Fun collaboration last time. We did the Bears versus Packers preview. Now we're doing the Bears versus Packers postgame. Bears lose to the Green Bay Packers 24-14 at Soldier Field today, August 17th, 2021. The game looked really good. For the first half, everyone was like, wow, the Bears are definitely holding their own. They got this. Then the third quarter came around. Something happened. Momentum was lost, and the officiating was absolutely horrible. There is no doubt about that. But there's a lot of positives that came out of this game. In the fourth quarter, the Bears started to battle back. Unfortunately, Aaron Rodgers had different ideas as he knew that this was probably his last game in a Packers uniform at Soldier Field. But it doesn't mean that the Bears and Packers can't meet in the playoffs. We're all optimistic here. We think that the Bears are still going to the Super Bowl. There's no doubt about that. Huge day today for some of the star young players that had the opportunity to play. We're going to jump all into that. But before we dive into it, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Lou Malnati's. Win or lose, there's always still lose. And back for a limited time, Lou's is bringing back their Italian combo, deep dish combo. Holy goodness. Look at all of that. What's on this bad boy, folks? Lou's lean sausage, tender Italian beef, slow roasted herbs and spices, all topped off with hot giant and Lou's tomato sauce. Make sure to order through the Lou Malnati's app. You can download that in the App Store for either Android or iPhone. And it's easy, simple. Even your dad can do it. And when you do use it, you get points that eventually lead you to free Lou Malnati's. Make sure you go get this. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to go eat this. Let's get back to the episode. And with that, Zach, welcome back to the show. Wasn't the outcome that we wanted, obviously, the Bears, Packers, but it was a competitive game. It was fun to watch. Just any initial reactions just out of the gate before we start diving into things?
Yeah, I'm always going to be positive, and I think it is important to remember that the Packers are a contending team. They competed for a Super Bowl last year. They're going to compete for one this year, and we held our own against a contending team. So I think there's definitely some positives you can take out of that.
Yeah, you go on Bears Twitter, you go on Bears Instagram, everyone's like, oh, the sky is falling. The Bears are now in third place in the NFC North. It is week 6. It is not week 17 or 18, excuse me. It's not like the end of the world. And the Bears are a 500 team right now, but they played like a 500 team to a degree, but they have gotten better every single game. And the fact that they were able to go against the Green Bay Packers with ex-NFL MVP or last year's MVP in Aaron Rodgers, Super Bowl champion Aaron Rodgers, a pretty strong defense and overall just a strong team. And the Bears were able to hold their own. The torch is slowly being passed back to the Chicago Bears for greatness in this rivalry. So definitely don't be upset. So let's just go into quick news. Let's get everything out there on the table before Zach and I just start jabbering at you guys. Bears are 3-3, are in third place, technically in the NFC North. They're tied with the Vikings for the same record, but due to the Vikings ratings and certain amount of yards and everything, the NFL puts them in second place in the NFC North. So the Bears are 3-3, the Vikings are 3-3, the Packers are 5-1, and the Detroit Lions are 0-6. They just can't. Today's game against the Cincinnati Bengals was absolutely horrendous. I don't know. I don't even. Did the coach cry again? I think he did.
It'd be a good excuse.
But
brutal loss.
Brutal loss. I mean, it shows that the Bengals are looking to be a legitimate team.
They look solid.
They look solid. They're young. They're fast. Joe Burrow. I wish the Bears had Joe Burrow. I love Justin Fields. I love Justin Fields, putting that out there, but I like Joe Burrow a lot too. And then just kind of going back to this whole thing, today's game was competitive. There were a lot of mistakes, a lot of dumb mistakes. Like Mario, I don't know if you saw Zach, but Mario Edwards Jr. with the taunting penalty. But the NFL is so soft, and I think everyone agrees to this, that the NFL is so soft. Like if Aaron Rodgers would have done what Mario Edwards Jr. did to him, Aaron Rodgers would have gotten away with it. Aaron Rodgers is jawing at Bears players. He's yelling, I own you, to fans and other Bears players. And he's trotting off the field. There's no flags at all. But Mario Edwards Jr., he's a tough guy. And today's game was completely controlled by the officiating. It's so obvious every single time the Bears and Packers play that the officiating is always in the Packers. I mean, can you even deny that? Like, can anyone deny that? It was a horrible officiated game today. What do you think, Zach?
100% agree. And obviously I'm more calmed down now, but I live stream most of the game on my Instagram account. I don't know whoever tuned in. I absolutely lost it. On multiple calls, because how can you not lose it? It's ridiculous. Before the game, a day before the game, I made a post about how, the Packers are going to be a tough team to beat. And I put a picture of the refs, and we see it again. It's every time we play. Yeah, the Packers might be a better team than us. I'm not going to deny that. Yeah, maybe we'd lose anyway. At least give us a fighting chance. It's unbelievable how many calls go their way. It's every time. It's unbelievable. I can't stand it.
There were some calls today. Like, I know that there was a couple pass interference calls, and there was some other different holding calls that were against the Packers that I was like, wow, the officials, maybe they're trying to make up for their mistakes. But then you get unsportsmanlike conduct, you get, illegal man downfield, like just some of these silly penalties that the Packers would just get away with. The NFL loves Aaron Rodgers, and obviously brings them a lot of money, brings them a lot of success. Look at Green Bay. Over the last 10 years, it's turned into a completely different type of city. It's not Chicago. Never will be Chicago. There's no doubt about that. But unbelievable just how bad it was. And then also, I know we're kind of going on a ramble here, but I don't know how many people notice this, but the bar I was at today in Skokie was fantastic. Village Inn, great time. If you've never been there for a Bears game, I highly suggest you go. Matt Nagy calls a timeout and then challenges the play. So now he's gambling on having 2 timeouts in a row, and there hasn't even been a play put in between that. Some of the coaching decisions today that were by, Matt Nagy and Bill Lazor, I'm going to throw a little heat on Bill Lazor here. There were some very questionable decisions. There's no doubt that the offense was doing better, but that decision by Matt Nagy really rubbed me the wrong way. And that's a growing opportunity for him, though he is a fourth-year coach. Like, that was just like, why did I not just throw the challenge flag right away? Did you see that, Zach? Or
I saw that. I was definitely questioned by that. Definitely puzzled. Just another questionable suspect. What are you doing moment from Matt Nagy? And that's just what it is.
But I will tip my hat to him. I think that now that he's not so focused on play calling against a tough team like the Packers, the Bears, again, they were competitive and they were in it, and they're led by him. His staff is not the only people doing stuff for him. Bill Lazor has done a great job. There were some plays, again, like that weird bubble screen that they threw out when they were on the goal line. They had 4 wide receiver or blockers out there, but Jesse James, who is not a blocking tight end, is out there over Jimmy Graham block. It made no sense. They could have put Alex Bars out there as an eligible man downfield just to create that ability. Bears ended up scoring. Khalil Herbert got in, who had a great day today. We're going to get into that in a second. But Matt Nagy did a much better job today in recent past compared. I still think he's going to go. I think today was the nail in the coffin for him that he's going to get fired after the season no matter what. But it gives a lot of opportunity with today's game to have coaches that are hot coach candidates that are going to come in and bring the Bears to the next level, and people are going to want to come here. I mean, that's just my initial thought process. But did you think Matt Nagy did a bad job today? I thought he did. I'll give him a C+. How about that?
No, I think that's fair. And I think it's fair to say that when Matt Nagy, when his head isn't in that play sheet, I like him a lot more. And when Bill Lazor's calling the plays, I think everything just flows a lot better when the situation's like that.
So let's go into the offense. I think that's a great way to kind of lead into the offense from today. Just quick stats, and then we're just going to kind of go into all positive thoughts here and constructive criticism. The only thing that's going to get really bad is the defense, and I guarantee you know who we're going after this week in regards to who did bad in the defense. But let's go to the offense. The offense didn't do bad today. Almost 300 total yards. If you take away the 4 sacks that Justin Fields had, that ended up being over 50 yards. Over 50 yards in sacks. The Bears would have broken 300 yards in total offense this week against the Green Bay Packers, who we talked about in our last episode, Zach, were the number 6 defense in the NFL on paper going against that team. So the Bears went up to the challenge. They had 277 yards total. 137 of them came passing, even though Justin Fields had 174 passing yards. Again, you have to do a little bit of subtraction because of the sacks, but 140 rushing yards today. A lot of it came from Fields, but Khalil Herbert, hats off to this young man. 19 carries, 97 yards, 6th-round rookie out of Virginia Tech, 5.1 yards per carry, and a touchdown. Khalil Herbert, hats off to you, Zach. I am so much more comfortable with the running back room now, and especially going against Green Bay, but Khalil Herbert did a fantastic job today.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. The running back room's in a great spot. We're in a spot where when one of our guys goes down with an injury, the other guys can step up. And Khalil Herbert, he's been an absolute stud. His vision is so good. That's what I'll say.
Crazy.
The offensive line, to be fair to them, has picked up the run blocking the past couple of weeks, and Khalil Herbert's taken advantage of it. His vision, it's perfect. He sees the cutback lanes all the time. He just always finds the hole, and he's getting solid yardage for us.
I think, like, when David Montgomery comes back, him, Damian Williams, and Khalil Herbert could be a three-headed monster, no doubt. And what kind of stinks is they kept putting the camera on Tyreek Cohen today, and I felt really bad for him because with Herbert playing as well as he is, and Cohen having as much money on the table, and he doesn't have a crazy cap hit, but he has a cap hit. I could see him, being shipped off this offseason. Unfortunately, I love Cohen. I don't want to see him leave, but this running back room is it's good, but it's too packed now. Like I'm not trying to be bearing bad news. It's a good problem to have, but I would hate to see Tyreek Cohen go. But you got to understand, right? I mean, do you feel that way, Zach, or do you think he'll end up staying?
Yeah, well, I hope he ends up staying. I think the best scenario here would be to let Damian Williams walk and
Yes.
keep Cohen. However, Cohen has had a weird rehab situation. We really don't know what's going on there. We don't know how it's going. If he comes back, I mean, Cohen's a big thing. He had a leg injury. And if the rehab isn't going great, then that's a big deal because his biggest thing is burst. He's not extremely powerful like David Montgomery. His vision isn't great, but he's such speed and acceleration out of the backfield. If that takes a hit, then there's really not much of a reason to keep him. But hopefully, if he recovers fully, we really need that big play potential out of the backfield.
It's just so the one thing about it that I hate is that I like Damian Williams a lot. The opportunity. So he was on COVID list this week. He did not play against the Green Bay Packers. I don't think it really had too much of an impact because Khalil Herbert had such a big day, but I like him a lot because he's bigger than Cohen. He's not huge. He's not Derrick Henry or anybody, but his experience helps. But Cohen's burst, like you said, is so beneficial. So Williams is on a 1-year contract. So if they end up letting Williams walk, he'll definitely get signed elsewhere. But, Cohen, Herbert, and Montgomery, that's also a great running back room for years to come. So I totally agree with you on that. But they also, a couple more things, and I want to hear anything else that I missed. But offensive positives for today. They got the tight end really involved with Cole Kmet. He had a really big day today compared to the rest of the season. I know that his stat line probably is like you're considering that a big day, but Cole Kmet, 4 catches, 50 yards or 49 yards, 12.2 yards per catch. Like not bad. I think that's good for him. And they did it against a tougher Packers defense. So they're starting to get him more involved. I just hate how long it's taking. Like every week we're like, the offense is warming up. Like it's week 6. The offense should be warmed up by now. I know Bill Lazor took over after week 3. So kind of he's got that curve behind him, but great job by Kmet today. Run blocking as well. And then Fields was slinging the ball today downfield. There were some bad decisions. He threw that interception in the beginning that no one was around. He was trying to throw it out of play. But why would you not throw it to the sideline? But a rookie mistake. Totally understand. It's going to happen. And then he had that second one, but luckily that one got called back. But the positives is that Justin Fields was moving, making plays for himself. He was running all over the field. He had 6 rushes for 43 yards. He had 7.2 yards per carry. So Justin Fields had a great day with that. But Zach, overall, there's a lot of positives to this offense. But what else do you think that the offense did really well with today?
Yeah, I think those are the main things. The big positives is Cole Kmet finally coming on, being a pass catching threat. And yeah, 50 yards isn't a great day. For him, that's an amazing day because of the past 3 weeks, he's had a combined, I don't know, there was a couple of weeks he went with no catches. And so that's very important, seeing him getting involved. And I love seeing Fields run around. And yeah, look, he made some dumb mistakes. He's a rookie. Rookies make dumb mistakes. I'm not expecting a seasoned vet here. I just expect Fields to show me potential. And that's what I saw today. I saw him moving out of the pocket, extending plays. There was multiple times he moved out of the pocket, didn't see anybody, and then moved again and ended up taking off for 8 or 10 yards. So no, I'm okay with what I saw from Fields today. Obviously, he's in his 4th start, right? 4th start. That's look, bad decisions. That's just a given with a rookie quarterback. So I'm overall happy with what I saw from him today. And the offense, I thought moved the ball well. I blame the coaches a lot for how we came out in the second half because,
Mhm.
halftime, you're going to the locker room. That's where adjustments are made going into the second half. So when we look good moving the ball in the first half and look like shit coming out in the second half, that's on the coaches. So, but overall, I thought our offense moved the ball decent. But yeah, you're right. We need to, instead of just warming up, we need to start cooking, and we need to just have a 30-point game, start bombing the ball downfield, just have an overall great performance, because in the modern NFL, you got to put up points.
Yeah, I got well. They threw the ball to Darnell Mooney, your guy. Obviously, scored the touchdown, only passing touchdown today from Justin Fields. So that was good to see. But man, I just don't know. I don't get Chicago sports. If you go, or at least teams with 4 quarters. So you go and you watch the Bulls. I don't know if you're a Bulls fan. I know you're a Bears fan,
Absolutely. Yeah,
but
100%. I'm big Bulls fan.
but the Bulls, like for the last couple years, obviously they've been rebuilding, but the third quarter they always sucked. And the Bears in the third quarter always suck, whether they start with the ball or not. It was 10-7 entering halftime. And everyone's like, we got ourselves a ball game, boys. Like, this is great. And everyone's like, oh, Green Bay's scoring in the third quarter. We're doing nothing. So it was a lot of positives today, though, overall. I think that the gap that they need to fill in is that third quarter issue. They have to come out with a better scripted second half and overall just be the better team. And that's how they're going to win games. So let's go to the defense really fast, Zach, before we close out today. The defense gave up 323 yards. And I know that sounds like a lot, but for against a team like Green Bay, that is very impressive. They did a great job. They also had penalties galore against them. I know we talked about the Mario Edwards penalty earlier, which Aaron Rodgers started, by the way. Aaron Rodgers totally started that
Yes.
by grabbing his face mask. And then Mario Edwards Jr. kind of pointed at him and said, don't do that. I'm going to come after you. And then, of course, guess what happens? Flag, Aaron Rodgers gets 15 yards down the field, the first down, and then they end up scoring on that drive. So, the Packers broken down. They had 169 passing yards. So, and Rodgers, by the way, did not even break 200 yards passing as a quarterback. Like, he got sacked 3 times by Khalil Mack. Again, 6 for 6 this season so he's averaging a sack a game. Robert Quinn came back, 5.5 sacks so far this season. And then Akeem Hicks got involved. And he actually tweaked his groin again on that play. But Akeem Hicks was getting in the backfield and making things happen. So really good to see, the defense coming together. And, the front seven did a fantastic job. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, by the way, went completed 17 passes out of 23 for 195 yards with 2 touchdowns. Nothing to write home about, and he had a rushing touchdown. But, he had an Aaron Rodgers day, but it's not like his amazing Aaron Rodgers day of 400, 500 yards passing and all that junk. The Bears defense did fine, but there's a guy named Eddie Jackson who fans are not pleased with right now. There were so many times today where Eddie Jackson just got burnt, wasn't tackling guys, but he did have that hit on Aaron Rodgers when Rodgers ran it into the end zone. There was no penalty. He popped Rodgers pretty good, and that's when Rodgers got up and said, I own you, like is pointing at fans. But Eddie Jackson just doesn't want to tackle. So before we get into Eddie Jackson, because that's going to be our closeout today, Zach, what were your big positives today from the Chicago Bears for the defensive side?
Yeah. So my big positives from the defensive side was that we were able to get some pressure on Rodgers, make it uncomfortable. And yeah, if you watch that game, the Packers offense wasn't great by any means. Our defense kept us in the game. We slowed down Rodgers' passing attack. We gave up a big play on a slant to Davante Adams. But besides that, we didn't really give up any big plays, especially to Davante Adams. You're not going to stop Davante Adams, but we contained him, and that we did that well. And our defense, you can't be mad. You're playing Aaron Rodgers. You only give up 24 points. I'm satisfied with that performance. You give your offense a chance to win the game. You're not going to shut down Rodgers, but you just got to contain him enough. So around that 20-point mark, give your offense a solid chance to go win the game. And, that's what our defense did. And I'm not mad at that at all. I thought they had a impressive performance.
Yeah, I think that this defense is still top 3. I know we talked about it in the last episode, but this defense is it's so impressive. And Sean Desai is doing such a great job. Even though we lost the game today, the defense was out there most of the game again. You go look at time of possession. I have it in front of me right now. Time of possession was, it was the Packers had 5 more minutes on the field, which is okay. You're pretty decently even, but it's just that you're going up against Aaron Rodgers. The more you have him on the field, the more chances the Packers are obviously going to score. That's how the offense works. You put the offense out there with an NFL MVP quarterback and future Hall of Famer, guess what's going to happen? They're going to score. And the Bears did everything they could. If it was flipped and Justin Fields had one more drive and there was one less drive for the Packers, I don't know. Could have been. It's a game of inches. It's a game of inches. That one that's technically seconds right there. But overall, I think that this team did very well. The Bears as a whole did a good job today. Though it's a loss, it's week 6. And yes, it stinks heads to the Packers, but I thought there's a lot of positives that came out of this game. And I'm actually really excited for the Buccaneers game next week. I know big challenge going up against Tom Brady, but if they can play like they played against the Packers today, against the Bucs, it could be another close game.
Yeah. No, we got very unfortunate today with some of the calls from the refs. And, maybe Tom Brady gets the same calls because that's kind of what Tom Brady does too. But, at the end of the day, like I said, we're playing a contending team here. We held our own. It was a 1-score game. I think we were down 3 points at one point during the fourth quarter, down only 3 points. And that was including Fields in the first half, who got a free play, who thought he had a free play, chucked it up. I mean, that's an unbelievable call. And why that's so funny to me is because the guy on the other sideline is the king of the free play. And that's what he does every time. He hard counts it. And when they jump, he hikes it, free play. Fields does the same, doesn't get the call. It's ridiculous to me how Rodgers has been doing that for a decade now. Fields does the same thing. And it's because, and Fields will get criticized for that play because it ends up as a pick. But that's a veteran play from Justin Fields. He's smart. He realized he had the guy jumping. He thought he had what should have been a free play. And, he chucked it deep and tried to get something to happen. And that's a good play from him, but it ends up as a pick because we're playing the Packers and the refs during the Packers games are not going to give us anything. But even with all of that, we were down 3 points in the fourth quarter versus a contending team. And so I think there are a lot of positives to take from that. We definitely held our own. We're not a fluke team, we're solid. And no, I'm not too choked up about this performance.
Yeah. I think you raised great points. By the way, we were actually down 10 points entering the fourth quarter. I just want to make that clear with the viewers. We're down 10 entering the fourth. But at halftime, I know what you were saying. At halftime, we were only down 3. It was a very competitive game. And then
what I meant was the late touchdown. I didn't mean to say entering the fourth quarter. I know we got a late touchdown.
Yes.
Yeah, to make it 17-14, I believe. So
Yep.
And that was with not too long left in the game. So I mean, we held our own. It wasn't an easy win for the Packers by any means. So
yeah, and everyone's like, "Oh, the Pack won," but it wasn't a blowout. Like Cleveland,
no.
if they beat us like Cleveland, then Packers can talk all they want. But Aaron Rodgers might be acting all tough right now, and I think this is what I want to end with. Aaron Rodgers might be acting all tough and big and bad right now. And I know Packers fans they love coming here and they love commenting on stuff, but Aaron Rodgers is not going to sleep well tonight because he's like, okay, this is the most competitive the Bears have been in 3 years against us. They're coming up to Green Bay in a couple weeks. Green Bay is obviously a harder place to play, but guess what? The Bears have the best fan base in the world. They travel very well. So I think that the Bears have a good shot at Lambeau still. It's Bears Packers. Every game, doesn't matter where they're playing, it's going to be a good game. So a lot of positives today, folks. Don't be upset. Obviously, you want to have Bears could be 4-2 and tied for first place, but that's not the case. You got to look at the positives, keep moving forward. The Bears are getting better. And I think that we're about to hit that, get over the hump, and the Bears will really start being more consistent. So Zach, as always, thank you very much for joining this episode. Hope you had a great time. I know that, I just saw the Dallas update that the Cowboys ended up winning in overtime against the Patriots. So sorry about that. But, at least what you can say is that, we don't choke as bad as the Cowboys. How about that? So thank you again for joining, man. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, no, it's fun coming on here. Again, always on to talk Bears football. So appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, and make sure that you go check out Zach's profile, Darnell Mooney season. Darnell Mooney with the only receiving touchdown today, so big day for him. But with that, thank you very much for joining this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Rohde, joined alongside Zach, a.k.a. Darnell Mooney season, and we will see you guys next time.